Hi there, welcome back to Apatros Review. In this episode, Avenging Angel, directed by Robert Vincent O'Neill in the year 1985. Hi there, welcome back to the Apatros Review, your guide to the wild world of science fiction action and horror, with me, your host, Mila Sipka. And guess who else is here, too? Gina, say hi. Okay, anyway. Now in this episode we look at the film Avenging Angel, which is this. That is a 1985 action comedy from the 1980s and was the first of three sequels to the jailbait sleaze thriller Angel from 1984. Now, zoom in there. Okay. Now, the film was released in Australia on DVD through Rainbow Entertainment, and I'll get to that later. Anyway, the film was released in the US theatrically on the 13th of January 1985 and on the 13th of June 1985 in Australia. So basically, this film is about as old as I am. Given that's my birthday in a couple of days. Anyway. Now, this was the first of three sequels, the first two of which were theatrically released in the 1980s, while the last film was a direct-to-cable TV production that has yet to see a DVD release, to 1984 sleeper hit Angel, which was a surprisingly successful but otherwise quite badly handled piece of 1980s slasher movie crud about a 15-year-old elite private school student who earns her tuition money by moonlighting as an underage sex worker at night once her homework is done. The story was woeful, but director Robert Vincent O'Neill managed to give the film a better handling than it deserved, with a good degree of restraint and some good acting from Donna Wilkes as the title character, and Rory Calhoun being such a badass as Hollywood Boulevard Street Sheriff Kit Carson, so badass he doesn't let a few bullets phase him. Now, 4 years after the events of the first film, which has been rather clumsily retconned into being set in 1981 if you take the date on Andrew's tombstone to be gospel, Molly Stewart is in college studying law. One day, her cop protector, Hugh Andrews, is shot dead while trying to come to the rescue of a female undercover cop who is being blasted to death by shotgun-wielding assassins working for a local property developer who has been secretly forcing people out of their apartment buildings along the boulevard to make room for his construction project. Molly decides to return to the area to help track down Andrews' killers, with the only information to go on that a local street performer saw the killers gun down Andrews. With his help, Molly and her old friends Yo-Yo Charlie and the Butch Motel owner Solly Mosler bust Kit Carson out of a retirement village, actually mental asylum. His lawyer finally had him committed in an effort to control him, and the gang quickly set to work taking on the developer and his army of assassins, unaware that the Crims actually have an insider in the police department feeding them intel. Avenging Angel tends to be the least regarded 1980s Angel franchise, but in my view, the film is actually the best of the lot. For me, the jailbait premise of the original has been ditched, and deservedly so, for a more standard vigilante plot involving the Angel character, returning to the streets to gain revenge on the Crims who killed her good friend, with the help of old friends. As such, it isn't exactly good enough based on the plot alone, but O'Neill changes his approach to make this an action comedy of sorts, with some more light-hearted moments and more comedic dialogue. Betsy Russell does a much better job in the Angel role than Donna Wilkes did, and has since appeared in some of the Source sequels 20 or so years later, although she's not exactly a perfect fit for the material at hand here. As usual, Rory Calhoun is the best thing about the film, milking his character's borderline senility for maximum humor value. The gunfights are better staged than those in the original, and the film proves to be rather exciting at times. That being said, this isn't exactly a good film, only passable at best since the Angel franchise, at least in my opinion, is a pretty bad franchise at most. Avenging Angel is possibly the best film in the franchise, and does the premise a lot better than the original or its successive sequels. So this slots itself in my grading book in the C+ section, meaning it's passable. Now there's no gore in this, but plenty of dead bodies with the standard 1980s scribbling used here. As for nudity, the ill-fated undercover cop who gets gunned down by the assassins early in the film, Karen Murray, I think that's the name, yeah, shows off her entire body in the shower, boobs and butt clearly seen while the pubis is only briefly glimpsed a couple of times. Two other women, both hookers, both briefly show their breasts during the scene where Ross Hagen is tracked down and killed. Now for the DVD. So it looks like it's the Australian DVD. Now that was actually the first three Angel films were released on a reasonably cheap box set from Rainbow Entertainment, which that DVD was part of. a company that was also known as Hollywood DVD, at least I think it was, because the DVDs for all three films start with the rainbow logo, and then the menu featured the logo Hollywood DVD at the bottom of the screen. Rainbow was also one of the first labels in Australia to release a Hellraiser film, with Hellraiser 3 and Hell on Earth, shortly around the time that Magna Pacific did. They also put out a box set of the first three Leprechaun films, and was responsible for the Region 4 release of Return of the Living Dead 3, although that was of the cut version. As was the case of Angel, the print Rainbow used for Avenging Angel is very mediocre. The print is quite dark, making some nighttime scenes almost unwatchable unless you boost the contrast on your TV screen to its maximum, and in some extreme cases even that will work, just like the original film was. The basic bus taken from worn VHS prints. There's also a shitload of grain visible. Indeed, this rivals some of Force Video's worst releases for the extreme grain, one example being the Force disc of Dead and Buried. The ratio is 1:3:3, but instead of being soft matte, open matte is cropped instead from the original 1:85 ratio. The solitary English stereo is sometimes muffled, making listening a chore, while there are no subtitles featured. There is also no supplement on this disc. Okay, so Avenging Angel pretty much gets a C+, passable. It's the best of the Angel films. I plan to cover the third Angel film sometime in the coming weeks. Angel 4 has yet to be released on DVD, and it's very hard to find a VHS copy of it. So, Avenging Angel, that's what it looks like. Back cover. Okay. I hope you enjoyed that. Now my birthday's just less than 2 days away, so that'll be interesting. Got a little surprise. Okay, I hope you guys are staying safe. If you have any questions about DVDs, or if you want to have a particular film in my collection, just hit me up in the comment section, I'll answer. Hope you guys are relaxing, taking it easy, and stay safe. Let's have this review.